Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Nazarah Merah. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my channel. And welcome to day 2 of the 99 days to irreversible self-realization. So I'm just going to wait a few moments and see if anybody will be joining in with us live today. Hello everyone. It's been so wonderful to be with you all in our online group and to hear all of you guys sharing together and your inspirations and how your first day has been going and how you're really like deepening in yourself and starting to become more aware of the patterns of the mind as you deepen into awareness more and more. So thank you guys so much for sharing and connecting in there. I love to hear from you, and I'm reading all the comments, so I don't get a chance to get back to everybody, but I do love to hear from you guys. And then what I hear from you guys, that really tends to kind of influence what is shared on these live streams. So as I hear from what's going on, what's coming up for you, and how you're experiencing it, how you're deepening, then that gives inspiration to kind of help us move into deeper and deeper states together. So yesterday I shared really in a new way that I hadn't heard about Presence spoke of before. And I shared about it in a way for you to start to be able to enjoy presence in a very deep way and start to see how blissful presence actually is. And that is the truth of what you are. That's your core frequency. That is your core frequency. And so I wanted to help us align to that because it's so powerful to realize that you are the source of all frequencies and that you can feel your natural state of peace and ease that's underneath all the thoughts and ideas that tend to come up. And today I really wanted to focus us a little bit more into really approaching this practice of awareness, aware of awareness, in a much more solid way. So there's a lot more clarity about it and a lot more focus, so we can really start to bring this into our moments every single moment if we can. Start to be the awareness of what is arising, be the self-awareness. So the practice of awareness, aware of awareness, and I shared on this in the group yesterday, but I wanted to just go over it a little bit more because, the mind tends to try to overthink everything. It wants to overcomplicate it and overthink it. And what we're doing in this 99 days is we are really spending as much time as possible in a heightened state of awareness, so that we can actually see ourselves and get that spaciousness from the thoughts. So then we realize, oh, those thoughts are in front of me and I'm the one seeing it. And then at some point, the longer you stay in that practice, then it just becomes, you have a realization, and it just becomes very clear that the thoughts are in front of you and that you don't have to respond to every single thought. You don't have to identify with every single thought. You don't have to believe those thoughts, and you have your power back because you know yourself as your true self, as the awareness, the self-awareness of all that is arising in your experience. So then you're able to choose very powerfully which experience you actually want to have. Because you've accessed your power as the self, where there's infinite perspectives, infinite perspectives, and you're not identified with any of them. So then you have infinite power to choose infinite perspectives in any and every single moment. But we have to spend enough time away from the thinking state to actually get our power back. It's very important. It's very crucial. If you really want irreversible self-realization, this is your focus. This is it. You have to declare that this is what you desire. Because there will be a lot of thoughts and ideas that will come up. So many. The mind will try to say, what about this? No, but I need to figure out awareness first. But I need to understand if I am awareness, or if this is really, self-realization is really what I think it is. And maybe I need to figure it out first. And maybe I need to discover something more about what I think about this. And, what about this idea about self-realization? And maybe there's this idea about self-realization. And the mind is going to keep doing that. It's going to come up with a million ideas to keep you thinking about self-realization. Keep thinking about self-realization. But you can spend your whole life thinking about self-realization and you will never realize yourself in that state. You're not. Because you're not in any of those thoughts. So you're not seeing yourself if you're just seeing thoughts about self-realization. You're not going to see yourself there. So this is why it takes a true desire. It takes a true desire. True desire for truth. Do you want to know the truth? Or do you want to keep thinking about ideas, about endless perspectives of, of what the mind thinks truth is? And you can have a true desire by simply declaring that you have a true desire. That's how easy it is for you to have a true desire. Because I already know you have a true desire. I already know if you're here, you do have a true desire. But what may happen, though, is that the mind is so clever and cunning, and you have been believing that those thoughts have something to do with you, so then the mind will start just talking about self-realization. And it will keep kind of coming up with more ideas. And it sounds like, well, no, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out self-realization so I can figure out if this is really my true desire or not. But that you're not in any of those thoughts. The reason you're even in this program is because something deeper brought you here. Deeper part of your being that's not in those thoughts brought you here because it is your true desire. It is. It is. And you'll feel that in your heart. You'll feel that true desire in your heart. In the silence in your heart. You'll feel it. Because self-realization, you guys have to see what self-realization, it's the simplest thing. It's the simpler than simplest thing ever. It's so simple. It is so profoundly simple. It's just you are presence. You are the space underneath the thoughts. But it takes a focus. It's so simple, there's nothing to figure out about it. And that's why the mind doesn't understand it. It's like, no, I have to figure something out. But you can't ever figure it out because it's the simplest thing. It's just what you've always been. There's no possible way to figure it out. You always are it. So you're just being what you are. And you're getting used to being what you are and being able to be comfortable with being what you are. That's what we're really focusing on here. We're trying to become comfortable with being what we are. And the only reason it doesn't feel comfortable sometimes to be what we are is because the mind has had this pattern of creating a lot of different thoughts and ideas again and again and again. And it's scared to just be what you are. It doesn't know what it is. The mind doesn't know what's in the space of what you are. It's like, no, there's nothing there. I need to think about something. Something bad's going to happen if I don't think and worry about something. I need to make sure about something. I need to worry about something. I need to figure something out first. I need to know if this is the right thing, if I should actually be what I am. I don't know. Maybe should I be what I am? Maybe I shouldn't be what I am. Maybe I don't want to be what I am. Maybe I should. It will keep talking like that to just create this illusion. And it will go on endlessly. It will go on endlessly. If you keep focusing your consciousness on it, it will go on endlessly. It will. It's endless. So it's a balance of seeing that these thoughts are arising and realizing that that's not what you are. Every single time a thought comes up, you're realizing that's not what I am. That's not me. I'm the one seeing that. And so then just through that realization, you have the power to drop that thought. Drop it. As soon as you realize that's not what you are, you're not hypnotized by it, so you have the power to let it go. And see yourself as the space, as presence. And so it's a practice doing this again and again and again, because the mind will keep going with its pattern. So you're going to keep doing this again and again. And you can do this in a blissful way, because what will happen though when you first start doing it sometimes is that the mind will get agitated because the thoughts will keep coming up. There's going to be a thought and then you're going to let it go. And then there's going to be another thought and then you're going to let it go. There's going to be another thought and you're going to let it go. And that's just because that's been the pattern that you have been in. You've been in a pattern of thought after thought after thought after thought after thought and giving all your consciousness to that experience. So then that's become a learned pattern of experience. That's become the learned way of being. So we're unlearning that way of being now. We're unlearning it by simply continuously seeing ourselves as the space, as presence, as the awareness of the thoughts. Again and again and again. And it will feel to the mind, it'll say, this is so frustrating. I don't want to do this. There's too many thoughts. Oh my God, this is so hard. No, maybe I should just think about self-realization instead. Maybe I want to think about it. Maybe, do I really want to do self-realization? I don't know. What is self-realization really about? I don't know if this path is for me. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it is for me. What does this person think about it? What does that person think about it? That's what the mind likes to do to keep its pattern going. And meanwhile, you are the one that's seeing it, but you've lost yourself. You've become lost in hypnosis of thoughts. So, in this initial phase, it is a dedication to continuously realizing yourself every time a thought comes up. And you can make it blissful and you can breathe it out and just let it go and just find that space of peace that you always are, that space of peace and presence that you are. You can make it feel blissful. You can make it feel light. You have the power to do that. And if a thought of agitation comes up, you have the power to realize that that's not what you are either. And you don't have to identify with that thought of agitation. You don't have to. If you let the thought go, if it comes up and something feels agitating and you let it go and you breathe it out and you realize that's not what I am, I'm the one seeing that, then you can tune into the frequency of presence that you want to feel. You can tune in through your heart, and you can keep doing that again and again. So it will be like, it's like a little puppy dog. If you're taking a little puppy and you were teaching them how to walk on a leash or something, they would keep like, no, I want to go over here, I want to go over here, no, what about over here, I want to go over here. They would keep wanting to go every which way. But you have to keep guiding them again and again in a very patient, loving way. Very patient, loving way. You wouldn't get mad at them and agitated with them. No. you'd see they don't know any better. That's just the old pattern. They're learning a new way. So that's what we're doing as we do this practice and the thoughts do arise. We're staying as awareness, and then the thought will come up and it will pull you, and then you're going to realize, oh, that's not what I am. I'm seeing that. Take a deep breath and breathe it out, and you keep doing this. Keep doing this. And you can take a lot of deep breaths. It's very blissful, actually. If you take a lot of deep breaths, it'll really help you move energy. This is a really powerful way to quicken the healing process. Because what's happening is all these old thoughts that you have been believing and thinking over and over again, well, they're going to like start bubbling up as soon as you start getting into a higher state of presence. They're going to come up because they're purging out your mind-body system. And they will purge and they will release if you don't identify with them. They will. But if you identify with them, then you get caught up in the old pattern and you just keep creating more and more thoughts and ideas and beliefs and questions, and you keep adding more energy, more fuel to the fire. So we're practicing, we're spending 3 times a day where we're in a concentrated presence practice for at least 15 minutes a day. That is the focus, so that we can actually access a deeper state of presence, and then it's easier for us to be able to hold a high state of awareness throughout the day. This is how you get all your power back. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys of this, because this is the key. This is the key. This is the key. You have to return and live in your natural state, you have to actually be practicing your natural state of being. You do. But you can make it blissful and light. You can. You have the power to do that. And it can help if you start to see, oh, I already am self-realized. I already am that. This kind of intention that we have, you already are that. You already are that. You are that. Because when you feel that you are that, then that part of the mind that's like, oh, I have to do this to try to get somewhere, it creates kind of a resistance, and that feeling can feel contracted, and it's not even true. You just are realizing, oh, I already am that. And you can keep feeling that. I am this. I am this. This is what I am. I already am self-realized. I already am. I already am irreversibly self-realized. Even if that can help you feel that state of like what it is you're embodying, you feel that right now. How does it feel to be irreversibly self-realized? Imagine that and start feeling that way right now. And it's okay if things come up. It's okay if these kind of, this is the natural process. This is the natural process. So I want you guys to see this natural process, because if you actually could see this natural process from a higher perspective outside of it, then as this process arises of this purging, then you'll see that, oh, this is exactly what's supposed to be happening. So I can stop fighting this and stop resisting it and stop pushing away from it and realize I just need to completely surrender and realize I'm the space underneath all these heavy thoughts. And the more I do that, and the deeper I go with that, then the quicker that the purge happens. And then I go back, and every single time a purge happens, or it's like a heavy energy, which sometimes, depending on what's coming up, it could be as soon as you start. Sometimes, to be honest with you, the very most challenging time can be right when you start. Right? When you start doing this practice, it can feel very challenging sometimes. because all of a sudden you're doing something totally new that's totally different from the old pattern the mind was doing. You're actually getting out of that. So all these heavy energies can start to come up very quickly because they're wanting to be purged. They have to be purged. So you just keep realizing you're the one seeing it. You're the one seeing it. And you're spending concentrated, focused times 3 times a day to keep realizing yourself in a very deep state of presence. Very deep. So you can keep anchoring that in and feeling that sense of ease that you want to be feeling, the ease that you already are underneath these thoughts. So every time a purge comes up, every time this purge of energy, this heavy energies come up, if you started to see that this is a good thing, it is. Because these heavy energies, they're not about the practice, they're not about anything else except these heavy energies have been in your mind-body system and they've been making you feel heavy and not being able to feel your own natural lightness and just be living in that constantly. This is what has been keeping you from it, these heavy energies. So they're coming up because they're purging, they're like releasing out your system. So it's a natural, normal process. Don't identify with them. Keep realizing yourself again and again and again as the awareness of it, as the presence, as the silence underneath these things, as the space. That's what you are. Keep doing it again and again. Don't identify with any thoughts of agitation about the practice. Don't identify with them. Those thoughts have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with you. That is just the old pattern of the person mind that is basically being completely purged. It's just the person mind is just talking and it's trying to like purge itself from all these ideas. So you're watching this, you're seeing this, and it can feel uncomfortable sometimes. It can, I understand that. That's why I wanted to help you align with your own innate power to access source energy that you are and know that you have the ability to tune into another frequency. You do. You have to sit in presence and just feel a deeper state of yourself underneath. You have the ability to feel that peace, that lightness, that ease. It is underneath. And what will happen though if there's a feeling that I can't feel that, well, if you started to try to feel your natural state and then there was a thought saying, I can't feel that way, if you really went deeply into that thought and you felt it right here, right now in your heart, you would probably start crying. You would probably start feeling emotions because that thought from the person mind is a huge lack in limitation that's been keeping you from your power. And if you've been believing it, you have to feel the pain of it. You have to fully feel the pain of that. And if you feel the pain of it right here, right now, then it'll purge out your system. And then you have one less person-mind thought that is in your mind-body system now. They're just leaving the body, basically. They're leaving the body. So you become lighter, but you have to face them. You have to feel them. And you have to see that this is a natural part of the process. It's a natural part. So these things will come up, and then you just keep realizing yourself as the space. And then after they purge out your system, when you totally feel them and you just allow them to be as they are, then on the other side of that is always like you get bumped up to another level of bliss, another level of feeling good, another level of a realization. This is the natural process. It's like these kind of waves. The whole way of self-realization is like this. It will be like this. And this is a natural part of the process. So, because every single time it's like the heavy energies come up and it's like, oh my gosh, and then it gets really, really intense. And then you kind of start going and just sliding downhill into feeling, it's all good. It's all good. And you just relax into the space again. And then another wave of bliss comes over you. It's a natural part of the process because as you release the heavy energies, you have more space for your natural state of being, for your core frequency to be embodied. That's how it works. So every single time you're accessing a higher level of bliss, a higher level of peace, a higher level of ease, and embodying that more and more. You're creating more space in your mind-body system. That's what we're doing. So then you can just be so light, so light. So don't resist any of these things. Don't resist them. Because the one that wants to resist it is the mind. And the more you identify with that, the more challenging it will feel. Keep declaring what it is you desire. Keep declaring it, because your declaration is so powerful. Like when you say your declaration with a strong power in your voice, in your words, and truth with you, what you really want to feel, it's so strong. It actually, like, it concentrates your consciousness to align and to actually stop the mind from all of its really intenseness. For a period of time it will, because it like builds this fire, this momentum. And I want you to know that sometimes these heavy energies, when they come up, it's not a bad thing either, because as you progress, what you'll actually see, as you progress in self-realization, you'll see that you'll get more clarity, and you'll actually see, oh, I actually am allowing these things to be, these heavy energies to come up, because they build a fire. Like what happens when heavy energies come up is it feels uncomfortable. And when it feels uncomfortable, that actually gives you more fire. It creates more pressure for you to be like, I'm done with this person mind altogether. I'm done with it. I'm done with this person mind. I'm done with it. I'm tired of this pattern of this person mind. And you have to get kind of sick of it to really focus. Because you have the power to focus your consciousness. You do. If you do, you have the power. You have the power to actually get to a point where no thought and idea will ever arise in your mind again. To be honest with you, you have the power to do that, but you've just forgotten your power. So it takes doing these practices to actually remember your power. Because then, once you have your power back, anything could arise in the space and you could just instantly destroy it. And when I'm saying destroy, you realize that's not true, that doesn't exist, that's not what I am, and I'm refusing to even give any energy to it whatsoever. I'm refusing to believe it actually even exists, that thought. So I've destroyed it, and there's no way that reality can ever be created. You have the power to do that. But the mind, from its pattern, would be like, no, I can't do that, it's too hard. Because and you believe that, and so then you feel like, no, I don't have my power. So we just have to stay as awareness more and more, so you can get some spaciousness from the mind to actually see, no matter what that mind says, it actually has no power over you whatsoever. Whatsoever. But your belief that it does have power over you is very painful. And so you will have to feel those painful beliefs. So I have to feel this, it feels like this. You have to, and you are identified with that, and you've believed that in the past. So when you believe something, you've created a reality of sorts. So you can't run away from a reality you created, because then you're basically saying that you're powerless to your own creations. If you face your creations because you realize they have no power over you, you become fearless, and you realize your infinite power, and realize, oh, none of those things actually ever were affecting me. That was just an imagination, basically. Every time a thought arises, keep letting it go and find yourself back in presence. See yourself as the space every single time. Keep doing it again and again. realize those thoughts mean nothing about you. They have nothing to do with you. They're happening in front of you, and they don't exist unless you believe that they mean something and you give them energy. They're just beingness energy too. They're just beingness energy. Any thought that arises is just made out of the one thing that you are. It's just beingness energy. So if you saw it like that, then you wouldn't actually create a reality out of it or an experience. You'd realize, oh, that doesn't actually exist. It's just beingness energy. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the one thing that I am. It's all the same thing. It doesn't actually have any power. It can't do anything to me. No thought has any power over you whatsoever, unless you believe it does. So keep surrendering these thoughts again and again and again, seeing yourself as the awareness. And just let your consciousness find space and space out. It's not a lower state of consciousness when you're in the space, because you're actually in a heightened state of awareness, but you were just being in the space where there is no ideas of you even being a person, or you being a body, or there being a room, or you have no ideas about anything. You're just so dissolved into the space of such a deep state of presence that you can feel everything as innately one with you. It's a heightened state of awareness. It's a heightened state of awareness in a soft way, through just dissolving and melting into everything that exists, because you are just realizing that's what you are. You are connected to everything. You are the energy field of all of existence, anything that you can perceive, that's made out of your body. So fall into feeling that. Can you get a sense of feeling that? You always are this, but you haven't been noticing. So start to notice this. Start to notice the truth of what you are, the deeper truth underneath every idea and thought you have about a body and about thoughts and about self-realization and about what you're doing and about a practice. Let it all go and just go very deep and space out into the space. Become the space of everything. And if a thought arises, just realize, oh, that's space too. The thought is made out of space. Every thought is made out of space. Every thought. So you dissolve it into the space of you without identifying it. With any single thought that could arise, no matter what it is, you can dissolve it into the space, into oneness that you are. You have the power to do that. And when you do that, it's like it never existed. So you can go two ways with this. And you can explore this, because I presented one way with you yesterday of how to feel the bliss and just seeing that you have the power to make it feel very good. Feeling in presence, feeling the space. You have the power to create the space in the frequency that you want. And it can feel very blissful when you really realize that. But another access way is through feeling that everything is meaningless altogether too. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. When you say meaningless, it's like if you really knew that everything was just made out of the one thing and there was no separation at all, then anything that was here, that in the space of you, is all just made out of the one thing. So all the meanings are just meanings that have been assigned from the mind. So you're seeing that everything's just the one thing. So you can dissolve everything into being meaningless by realizing it's just the one thing that you are. There's no separate in anything. Everything is just what you are. Any idea that it's something other than what you are as the one whole thing is just an idea. You don't need to think about things to say things and interact and to work. You don't. Your brain already has all the information it needs to actually, for you to function very efficiently. It already knows everything. You've already learned how to be a person in the world. So you don't have to think about things that you have to do and what you have to say and what that person said and what that means. You don't have to think about those things. Every moment those kind of thoughts would arise, you can just dissolve them back into the space, back into presence, and let them go. And see yourself as the awareness again and again and again. And it's easier to do this now than it's ever been, ever before on this planet. It's much easier to do this now. So whatever past experiences you've had, let them go, because those never existed. It's getting easier and easier and easier to realize yourself. So easy. Because there's more and more space that's available. So you're just tapping into that space. Every thought that's arising is an invitation from the mind to say, hey, do you want to play with this instead? What about this? Maybe there's this. We could do this instead. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do self-realization. We could do this. What about this? What about that? It's going to keep presenting all these potentials, all these possibilities. But what we're trying to do is close down all the potentials to just the highest potential possible. That's what we're doing. We're closing all the other potentials, so we are just on the highest timeline. The highest potential and the highest timeline. You keep aligning to that. Keep declaring that's what you want. That will keep closing down all of those old thoughts that are trying to pull in every possible potential. We want the highest potential for you. We want your highest potential. We want your highest timeline for your best, most epic life ever. That's what we want. You have the power to focus your consciousness on that. You do. And if you're having a challenging time, it can help to have more of a masculine energy approach. How I brought it yesterday was more of a feminine energy approach. And I've been trying to integrate these two things to see how we can play between the two, moment to moment, with whatever feels most easy and effortless and most aligned for our highest timeline. So if you're having a lot of thoughts coming up again and again and you're feeling this is very challenging, then a way to actually really focus your mind-body system may be to integrate some type of Kriya exercise into your morning practice. Starting a morning practice where you do some type of Kriya exercise, which could be designed to focus your mind-body system. They're very powerful. There's a lot of very powerful exercises that you can access, and they really help kind of purge out the energies in a much quicker and most efficient way. They do. Because all these thoughts that come up are a lot of heavy energies. And you can do some type of breath work practice, or there's different types of mantra and there's different types of movement practices that are specifically designed to really clear out your field from these old heavy energies very quickly. And then they allow you to access a deep state of presence. So you could start your day like that and then already be aligned to a higher frequency of presence. And then it's easier to keep reconnecting and anchoring into that if you've started your day in some way like that, or you've already accessed it. because it's just a practice. It's like every frequency, your source energy, you're the source of all frequencies. So the reason that you haven't been feeling these higher frequencies of presence, these higher frequencies of bliss on a regular basis, is because you've been practicing all of these old heavy frequencies again and again and again in the person mind stage of consciousness. You've been practicing them over and over again, and you kept focusing on them again and again and again. You've been practicing, you've gotten so good at it. You've gotten really good at that. But that's not your highest potential. So now we're practicing a totally new state of being. We're practicing new frequencies. And that's it. You just practice them. The more you practice them, then the more they become your natural state. That's how easy it is. It's like anything else. Anything you would practice, a new sport, or if you wanted to learn to play an instrument, you have to practice. The practice is crucial. It's the most important thing. Otherwise, you're just talking about it, and that's not going to get you anywhere. We're getting out of the concepts. We're getting out of all of these ideas about what we think self-realization is. Self-realization isn't even anything. You see, self-realization is just a word. It doesn't mean anything. You are the eternal presence. You are the presence. There's no words or ideas there. That's where you're going. Because the more that you feel yourself there and you're connected with yourself there, then infinite intelligence, the absolute infinity source energy, just instantly knows what to do. And just you instantly in the moment, it comes in the moment to moment, you'll just know what to do. And what the actions and the information that comes from your mind-body system when you have more space, when you don't have idea and thought after thought after thought after thought coming from the old perspectives of the person mind, then the information that you have access to, the realizations that you have access to are so profound. So profound. But they come from the space. Trust yourself as the space. Trust yourself as presence. Trust that. Trust it. Fall into it. Fall into presence. Fall into it deeply. Let go. Face those fears of the mind. The reason the mind keeps coming up with thought after thought after thought is because it's scared of presence. It's scared of it. You're not scared of presence. You are presence. So you're just being with the mind as it comes up with these old thoughts, and you're just surrendering them, and you're allowing them to be there and realizing that that has nothing to do with you. So all these kind of doubts that you guys are having about this, you're creating those potentials. I want you to know that. You are creating that. I know you have doubts about it, but you are the absolute, so you get to create whatever you want. And every doubt that you have is really doubting yourself. You're doubting yourself. I can't doubt it. I feel the doubts. And you know when I feel them because I feel you guys so strongly. I feel these doubts. And literally every time I feel them, I like pop those potentials open. I've realized that's not truth. Nope, that's not what exists. There's no way I'm going to allow those doubts into my field. And you guys are in my field because we are one being. So you can keep trying to hold on to these doubts, but they're going to get very painful is what's going to happen. They're going to get very uncomfortable because the field that I'm vibrating out for our community is complete fearlessness, and is that we are moving into a very rapid evolution as a community, as a collective. That's all I see. That's all I perceive. That's all that exists. That's all that exists. Fall into that trust. Fall into it. So easy to have a realization. You guys don't know you don't know who you are. You're not believing in yourself. You're not believing in yourself. I know that you guys can actually realize yourself faster than 99 days. I know you can. I know who you are. I believe in you so strong. I do. I know who you are. You can have a realization like that. I mean, these realizations are so present in the field right now, you guys. We've opened up a whole portal for a whole different experience on this planet. And I know you might not believe this yet, but the timeline that I am fully aligned to, and when I'm saying I am fully aligned to, I am saying I as all of us together. Because I don't see myself as a separate being. We are fully aligned to a very, very, very fast evolution that's never been perceived before in the whole universe. And I'm not joking about that. Because I've seen this potential so clearly that this is what wants to be created. This is the highest potential for this planet. And that's what's coming through now. And even star families did not believe that it was possible. They didn't know that this timeline was available because it wasn't able to be perceived until now. Because things have shifted so quickly. Certain beings on this planet have been awakening in very accelerated ways that were not originally perceived or thought. And so because that's been happening and because they've been aligning and this has been happening more and more, that we've opened up a totally new potential and possibility that was never seen before. And that's what I'm fully aligned with. I can't perceive anything else. So if you want to keep doubting it, you want to keep identifying with those thoughts, it's going to get very, very painful. It's going to, because this whole community is vibrating at a different state of being, at a different perspective, at a different timeline. And I'm aligning you guys to that. I'm dedicated to that. So trust yourself. Trust in your own innate power. Trust yourself. It's in your heart. It's not in those thoughts and ideas of lack and limitation and doubts. It's not there. Those thoughts don't know the truth of who you are. They don't know how infinitely powerful you are, that you can create anything that you want. That's what we're dissolving, all those thoughts and ideas that have been limiting you. Realizations happen instantly. They happen instantly. What the practice is doing is it's helping you really show. This is all it takes, is it takes you showing and proving to your mind that you are done with its old pattern. That's all that it takes. It doesn't actually take 99 days. It just takes you getting so clear that you are done with that pattern of mind. And when you do that, you align and you just say, I'm not going to let one doubt even arise. I refuse to believe any single doubt. When you come with that power and that strength, you can have a realization instantly. You can. And realizations can happen and they literally will totally shift you and your mind won't work the same anymore. It'll stop with that crap because you won't be able to believe it because you'll have seen through this reality so strongly that there's no way you can go back to seeing it that old perspective from the person mind. You already are this. You've just been choosing to identify with these person mind thoughts. You've been choosing that. You've been choosing to have that experience. Do you understand? You're the absolute. You were choosing that the whole time. If you want something different, you just simply have to decide that. And to stop doubting in yourself. Stop doubting in your power. I know who you are. I see it so clearly. So I believe in you 100%. Believe in yourself. And things are coming up. It's okay. I don't perceive that. I know things are going to be cleared and you guys are going to share things that are coming up that are heavy in the group. I want you to share them. I'm not going to perceive that that means that something, oh, these heavy energies are coming out and that means you guys are not actually having realizations. No, I'm like, that's perfect. That's what needs to come up. These heavy energies have to get purged. They have to be purged. And I'm seeing that you guys are aligning so clearly with this desire, your true desire for truth. And that's why these heavy energies are coming up. Because they're not in alignment with your true desire and your declaration. So they're going to come up very quickly to be purged out. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's perfect. That's what's supposed to happen. You're doing it perfectly. But keep declaring what it is you want. Keep believing in yourself. Don't let doubts arise in your mind. Don't believe in them. Don't give them any energy. You're creating that reality for yourself if you are choosing to believe in those doubts. And it's going to get very painful. Because I'm going to keep aligning this community to one of absolute truth. So if you're not aligning with that, then it's going to get challenging. So keep aligning with that. Keep declaring that, because that will make it so easy and effortless for you to align with this frequency. You're so powerful. Your declaration, how you perceive things is so powerful. You can't even believe it. When you see it, it's going to be so shocking. It's going to stop your mind. You'll never have another thought again. When you see it, it's going to shock you to such humility. You're going to be so blown away by the realization. It's so profound to see when you realize your infinite power. And that every single thought that you've been believing, you've been creating this whole universe. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. It's in your heart. It's not in those thoughts. Time is irrelevant, you guys. Time is so irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Time is so irrelevant. So irrelevant. But what is the most relevant thing is your absolute determination, declaration. That is so powerful. That's what the power is. When you decide something, when you truly decide something and you are like, this is all I want, nothing can stop you. It took me 10 days from when I decided, and this was like a year ago. It took me 10 days from when I decided, and I got so clear that I don't care about anything else, but this was all I wanted, was absolute truth. It took me 10 days from that day to when I went into the absolute. 10 days. That's how fast you can have a deep realization. You understand? Very quickly. And that was a year ago. And I see that there's even more space now than there was a year ago. But it takes your declaration. It takes your strong determination. It takes you proving to the mind that you don't care about what it's saying. You have to keep showing that through action steps. That's why the practice is important, because the practice is a representation of your strong determination and your strong declaration. That's what the practice represents. It's proving through demonstration. so proud of you guys. I'm so honored and blown away by you guys. I'm so deeply moved by you all who are in this community and who are a part of this. I just adore you guys so much. You have no idea. And what I see is that, if you're really determined for this, this isn't just some program. Like I told you guys, these programs, I'm not creating these programs just to create programs. I'm creating programs for a very, very specific reason. Because we are creating a global community here. So those of you who are dedicated, who are serious, we're going to be working together very closely to create this global community. And everybody's going to be a part of it, but the ones who are dedicated and serious are the ones that are showing that you're really serious about this and you're stepping up to do this, to actually be able to do it. Because for us to actually be able to do this in a totally different paradigm, we have to be realized. Because it's not going to be the same creations that we've been created on this planet before. So, be determined. We're going to connect. We're going to be working very closely together. We are. And it's very easy, as you really focus your consciousness and you really make a strong determination and you start having these realizations, it's very easy once you get to a certain point of realization, for you to spend time with me and for us to go align to our frequencies together. It's very easy. That's what we're assisting each other with. It's very easy for us to get into these higher frequency states and to be ourselves. It is. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work and you have to show that this is your true desire. You do. I love you all so much. I'm so deeply proud of you. I am. Every single one of you. No matter what's coming up, no matter what your mind is saying about, oh, I'm not doing good enough. I don't care about those thoughts. None of them are true. I'm so blown away by you. I'm so deeply moved by you. I'm so proud of you. I am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.